mean, sorry about the interruption. Somebody tried to pirate my internet. Never try to pirate a pirate. It doesn't work well. Now we'll move on into Misha Barak, prayer for healing. Let's see. This week, off the top of my head, and I was unable to check OneShul wall or my page, but Sarah, Devora, Nancy. I also want to include Tracy. She was in a car accident, and she says she's healthy, but we, just like to give her a little strength with that. Rabbi Patrick, and that's pretty much what I have off the top of my head. So if anybody wants to say Misha Barak, please, for someone, please just type them in, and that'll be sufficient. Amen. And thank you for sharing, Alex, that you used to be Japanese. That's and we're we're going to move into Mourner's Kaddish, and yes, we have to say Mourner's Kaddish this week. I have a specific request from one of the people I work with. Their neighbor died. The name is Mr. Priest. I don't have a first name. But we will say Mourner's Kaddish for Mr. Priest, and anybody else who is practicing yard site or anything of that nature. Feel free to just type in the chat room, and we'll get on from that. Amen. And Alex was saying that he's working on a transliteration for the store, and recording for the visually impaired, which is greatly appreciated, as I can no longer read Hebrew or transliteration. I can do Hebrew if I switch programs, but transliteration is totally, completely out, and so is slang. So if you type something in the chat room and it has to be transliteration or slang, I will not be able to read it. I'll have to guess. I'm using voice software to tell me exactly what you guys are all saying for the most part. I'm doing all right tonight so far. So with the brief observance out of the way, Elenu, if I had it, I would do it. I would shoot it up for you. But I do not, but I can definitely incorporate that with the next broadcast. A Braille on a monitor does not work well. No, not at all, Lanny. And it doesn't help when Bill Gates' software keeps telling me to kill Emily. And I'm assuming it's a transliteration word that all of you keep saying to me, but I hear constantly all day and all week long, kill Emily. I'm not sure what Bill Gates has against Emily, but apparently it's something very deep and seated and dark inside of him. So, okay. Tonight's topic is it's something that's addressed with me constantly when I'm talking with many of you outside of here. I do consider each one of you a friend and like to know you on a personal basis, and I do talk with many of you and give you the best advice that I can. And one of the topics that I run into constantly is marriage. And one of the points in marriage that keeps being missed by everyone that I talk to is equality. So I would like to address marriage and what the Torah has to say about it, and how Hashem feels about it and how we should feel about it. First of all, I want to say I am going to be talking from a traditional marriage standpoint, male and female. This is not to offend anyone. It's just easier for me to talk about that way. Please interpret whatever I say to fit your particular lifestyle. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I don't have another lifestyle to actually feel confident enough to talk about that, and so I'm just going to talk in a traditional sense. And I don't mean to leave you out or insult you or anything like that. Please just change things around. And Sarah says, wait a minute, love is blind and marriage is an institution. So if you want to live in an institution for the blind, get married. There you go. So what you're saying, Lanny, is with my vision loss, Hashem is getting ready to present me with my bashert at any moment now. That will be fantastic. Okay, so basically, what happens, okay? However you happen to find your bashert or the person you want to feel married, we've already covered that, what the Torah says and how the Torah says to approach it with your head, not your heart, etc., etc., etc. And what I'm talking is, and what the Torah tells us is, the best way to approach it. Not everybody's going to approach it this way. It says your success is going to be much better if you approach it in this manner. So, what the Torah tells us is, first realize that what you're feeling in the beginning is hormonal. There's feelings that are going to be generated between you and your partner that are not always going to be there. And many consider what you move into, and I very much consider what you move into to be love. It says what happens after those feelings disappear. The initial hormones disappear. And So, that being said, here's the thing with marriage, and here's the whole thing, and I'm going to dive into one of my specialties, which is genetics. We are genetically designed to be with other people. We have 50% of our DNA says be an individual, and 50% of our DNA says be a part of the group, of a group. It doesn't have to be any particular group. Also, if you look at how we look at things and how we were at Mount Sinai, we are 50% individual, and we are also all one. Keeping that in mind, okay? That's the way you're designed. Unless you have something that's a little wonky in your DNA, that's what you're designed to do. Fighting that is never a good thing. You know, you have to go with your programming. Let's see. Alex says, I approach marriage in a manner I see it about face and double time away. Now you do, Alex, but there's 3 other times that you didn't. And Lanny says, a good wife is more precious than rubies. And that is so true, Lanny. Very much on the ball and where I'm going to end up going with this. And George says, said Solomon with 1,000 of them. And, you know, we're not even going to take that into consideration. You know, there could be a bit of a myth there or some bragging rights there. We all know he was very fond of bragging about his manlyhood. And in marriage, required for a couple, what is that couple does not wish to have a formal marriage for whatever reason? I know a few couples who choose to live together and not to get married. Okay, I have to go by Torah. My answer is going to be Torah, and the answer is get married. Period. You know, that's our commandment. So any commentary on that, any choice other than that, I'm okay with. And that's fine, but the Torah says to get married. And you're correct, Lanny. It was 300 wives and 700 porcupines. Sarah adds she had her traditional marriage. I look at it this way. I can barely deal with one woman. Why do I want 300 of them? That's just enough to push her right over the edge. Yeah. And so this is what you have. Yes, you're supposed to get married. Yes, you have your individual personality, and then you have the other 50%, which is part of the group. So what a marriage is in Torah is actually 3 people, 3. Not 1, not 2, 3. And not 3 people, I apologize. But there are 3 involved in a marriage. There is you. There is your partner. And there is Hashem. And that's the way the Torah tells us to be in a marriage. And what happens is when you do get married, you and your partner become one with Hashem. And you're all still one. And you're saying, what does that mean? That's just totally bizarre. It doesn't add up mathematically. This is what it means. When you sit down, and if you can't sit down and have a conversation with the person you're married to, you need more help than I can give you right now. You need to be able to talk to about anything with your partner. The one you're married to, or choosing not to be married to, whatever. Okay, and I'm going to focus on married. Okay, you need to be able to do that. You need to have that line of communication open. You need to have the concept that when you do get married and you do get together and you do become one, you have your individual goals, you have the other person's goals, and those little goals have to twine up like the twist up like this and all become one. Alright? Each person has to consider the other person's goals. And the majority of the goals should kick up towards Hashem. So that being said, you need to be upfront in the beginning of the relationship. These are my goals. This is what I expect out of my life. What are you willing to give up for the other person in your goals? Lanny adds, the human condition requires a mate, not just sexually, but companionship. And that's very true, Lanny. That's why I was saying about the hormones and love. Hormones, in the beginning of the relationship, there's very little love. Love is something you work towards, what you accomplish, what comes after the fact. A new meaning to the term goalpost. Yes, exactly. Post those goals up to each other. Make it. Sit down. Get to the paperwork. You know, get it done. Relationships, despite what many different areas of Judaism are heading towards or come from, or what you have heard, a relationship is supposed to be equal. The man is equal to the woman is equal to the man, whatever your situation is, people are equal. They are one. You can't be one without being equal. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. You have to be absolutely equal because you are one. I'll tell you, this is where the problem comes in. Many times you hear in Judaism the woman is to serve the man. Many times in Judaism you hear the woman is lower than the man. You hear that the you know, this, that, and the other thing. And there is nothing less true. Absolutely nothing less true. The woman, a traditional woman, if she stays at home and takes care of the home and takes care of the children, or just taking care of the home, is a prized possession, gentlemen and ladies. They are the foundation. And without a foundation, you have nothing. And if they're raising your children, there is nothing more important worldly than raising children and raising them properly. And the problem is, society nowadays dictates and tells you that that is demeaning, that is, you know, oh, you're being, you know, subservient, and this, that, and the other thing. How could raising a child and bringing a child up properly ever be less important than all the other stuff? That is ridiculous. That is insane. Hashem does not say that. They are the foundation. You can walk in and your partner is there and they're like, I've taken care of the home. I've got it. Come in, relax, talk to me. How did your day go? That's a very important thing. Very, very important thing. And it ticks me off. And I will tell you it ticks me off that society has taken the view that that is a misogynistic role, that you're less because you're not independent or you're not out working a job or blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you, being at home, taking care of children is a job. You have to be a teacher. You have to be a play friend. You have to be a house cleaner. You have to be a cook, and then you have to be a counselor for your other partner. There's nothing harder. I will attest to it. I've done it. I've been a single father. I've played both roles. It is the hardest thing, and it's even worse when you have people telling you that you're insignificant or you're not on their par because you're doing that. That's ridiculous. You should be praised. You're on a pedestal. You're doing an amazing job, and I love You ladies, and if some of you men have done that, I love you for doing that. And my hat is off to you, and I praise you for doing that, because you deserve all the respect you deserve for doing that. You are equal. You are serving a purpose in a relationship. Everybody has different purposes in a relationship. They need to fill in the gaps to reach the goals. If you don't fill in those gaps, it's a struggle. I don't like struggling. I don't think anybody else here likes struggling. So if you fill those roles for each other and in your relationship and in your oneness, and look towards Hashem and include Him in your relationship, that's the way things are supposed to be. Equal. You're one. That's it. And you should be praised for what you do. And I do praise you for what you do. And I'm going to see what the chat room is saying. Let's see. Become one soul from two bodies. Exactly, Doc. Thank you. And Lanny agrees. And Lanny says, so David, are we going to get an invitation to your wedding? And you better believe you are. Absolutely. Whenever that happens, whenever Hashem feels that I'm ready for that, absolutely, you'll get an invitation. If you can't make it, it's going to be broadcast. It may not be on OneShul, but it will be broadcast. Sarah says she's always felt equal and treasured and valued as a person, though she was a housewife, and that's perfect. That's absolutely what I'm hitting on. Doc says that's why she came from the rib to be equal, not the foot to be below or the heel to be above. That's correct. From the side next to you, serving the purpose next to you, because we all know. Come on, Miss Sarah, you didn't jump all over that. I can't believe you didn't pick up on what Doc says. Throw it in there. Tell me what you're thinking, because I know who you're thinking about. And housewife is not a derogatory term at all. And I will go at anybody who ever goes at somebody who's serving a traditional role. I will take them on, because I've had to do both, and it is hard. It is not easy. Wife is a definition of home. She is the foundation of the relationship. She holds it together when everything else is falling apart, and that takes a lot to do that. Alex adds, I'd marry a woman that didn't cause me to be both husband and wife and single parent. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Mr. Alex. Right there on you. Sarah says her husband Barry used to sing, and I can't, Eshet Hayil to me on Shabbos. I'm not familiar with that song, but if you can give a little gist, that'd be awesome. If there's boat docks with, hey, listen, if I'm getting married, I'm off this boat. I'm sorry, kids. It's not going to happen anymore. I'm definitely going to be. Oh, thank you, Miss Susie. I appreciate that. Just type in random stuff to try to confuse the blind man. I see how it's going to be. Okay, so you get the idea. And if you ladies feel that you're not equal, you need to rethink things. You need to be able to talk to your spouse. Or ladies or men, because I've gone through it too. You need to be able to talk to your partner. You need to feel equal. You have to be equal in that relationship. You have to consider yourselves one. Because this is now the problem that we run into with this. You don't consider yourself equal. And you say, my goals don't count because this person is more important than me. This person's goals are more important. I want to make this person happy. And I'm willing to sacrifice everything I have for this person. What do you think the problem is with this? Tell me what you think what the problem is, giving up everything that you're about for another person in a relationship. So baby's typing me. Okay, well tell baby the McCall that I said hello. And it's been a while since I've talked to her. She just misses me. She misses my voice. Lanny said it beautiful. Yes, women aren't equal; they are better, and I feel that way 100%. But you can go too far with that, also, Lanny, and I have done that, and it's not a good thing. As I said, you end up giving parts of yourself up that you should not have to give up in order to be involved with this person, and this is what happens since nobody's picking up. If you give up, then you picked up the wrong mate. Uh, and George says, my observation is that women are more spiritual and attend synagogue with the children than many of our Jewish men. And actually, I see it. That all depends where you are, George. I have seen both sides of the fence, to be honest with you. So I don't want to go ahead and say that because from my experience, it's just not true. It goes for both sides. Okay? And I agree, in some places I have seen that without a doubt. And, you know, a lot of times in this day and age, the men are the ones out working. If she's home, he ends up working on the Sabbath or during shul or whatever, and he's working through it. And sometimes that's just what happens. But, you know, you deal with it. But I have seen both sides of it. So back to giving up. When you give up your goals, what you want out of life, your dreams, how you feel about things, your feelings, your emotions, because you love someone and you give all these things up because you love someone, what do you think is going to happen? And it's not a question of if it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You just gave up every bit of yourself that is considered yourself and happiness. And when you give up happiness, you become unhappy. And this is what I hear. Yes, I'm unhappy, but he's happy.